It's 4 o'clock on a Monday, and you know what that means, don't you? It's time for another exciting episode of Taxi TV Live.
Jesus, what are we doing?
This week.
I can't stand it anymore. I have to say this, because you just put me over the edge.
Well, no.
What did you do? You just touched on a great subject.
Of course. Point. I'm an experienced journalist now, Rob. I used to just be the owner of Taxi.
I was looking at you, but I meant to be looking at him.
I see. That's how you roll.
Well, see, I was trying to think now. What did Michael Laskow say?
Yeah, you were the one talking.
What was
I was listening.
I want to hear what you got to say.
So, you know what? I've discovered something that I think maybe I should share, and that is almost universally, when we sign people and we work with people, they give us songs.
Yes.
Let's say, meeting one, I say, we need to get songs, not 2 or 3, and then you sit back and wait for the money to come in. Okay? Not everyone, most people feel like, because we're touching on sync and other stuff now, that they're going to give you 5, maybe 10 songs, and you're not doing your job because you didn't place 9 of them. They feel like, this is it. Now I've arrived, and I'm going to sit back and enjoy the success. No. You got to keep writing and keep working at it and keep doing that. So what you were, I don't know if I was ignoring the subject you were on and it just sprung into my brain and I had to say that, but do you know what I mean?
This is what real friendship is all about.
Yeah, only half listen is what I'm saying. But the idea is, don't have those unrealistic expectations. So you can write the song, you can do all of these things, but in the end, you got to keep going on it. And don't give me 5 songs and expect 5 of them to get placed, or 10 and expect 9 to get placed, because it's unrealistic.
Getting one placed is a small miracle.
That's right.
It's and let's move into sync now.
Unrealistic expectations was my point of that.
Absolutely.
How do we curb that? How, as people, we do a lot of education with musicians vis-a-vis the Road Rally. Taxi does with the newsletter.
You got to work at it. We're getting back to the same thing. You got to work at it. You got to stick to it.
How do you get people to let go of those unrealistic? Why is it that creatives think, I love my art, I put my heart and soul into it, and I'm sure they did, and I'm sure they love their stuff, and I'm sure the people close to them love their stuff, but they're brokenhearted and blame the industry for not getting it, or blame the public for not getting it when it goes out.
I don't know, but we've all been there.
Yeah.
And I mentioned on another time I was here with you that Nate Cayley and I, when we had no success early on, we'd go out generally every Monday.
Right.
And would brainstorm, and one of the things that we would all say to one another, I don't remember whose idea it was, but that's not important. We would always say, they're looking for songs. They're not taking our songs. We can't say it's their fault
for not getting us.
We have to be, we always would tell one another, it's because we just need to be better. We haven't cracked the code.
Write better songs or write better songs for what they need?
Everything. All of that. Yeah. And it's hard for a creative person that pours their soul and their emotions into a song and labors over the production and every part of the vocal and the effects and the delays and the mix and the mastering, and then no love.
Right.
But you know what? It takes a particular kind of discipline to to accept that is hard, is to say, it's just not there yet. And Robin Thicke said this to me years ago when he was a kid. We worked together. And I heard him say something like that. I was like, wow, the song we were doing blew me away. And he said, I'm getting there. I'm not quite there yet, and I know it. And I thought, that struck me. And I've never forgotten that. And of course, it became a great success and everything, and a super talented guy, and his producer, Proj, really great producer, when we were working together at least. And I thought, well, that's a really smart approach, is to always feel like I'm not quite there and always reach for something more. But never place it on the artist or someone else. It's not that they don't like you or your work, it doesn't fit, or maybe you're not quite there yet. You just have to keep at it.
Athletes, great analogy there. Athletes, as they're approaching their peak, they're very, very close to their peak, every one of them would tell you that now their goal is to not beat everybody else, but beat their last best performance as an athlete.
That's right. And the space shuttle needs 104% to exit the atmosphere.
Right.
Is another one. So there's many of these little things. But for us, at least, and the people that we work with these days, it's not. You can't place the blame on the outside. You just have to look inside and say, you know what, I just got to be better at it, because they want great songs. I just haven't been able to give them what they need. We got to keep working at it.
I mean, for us,
Meaning you.
I mean us guys here.
Okay.
We I mean, I shouldn't say this, I guess, for everybody, but for Mike and I,
Mike Curb.
we never stop making records.
Yeah.
We never stop.
You can put me in on that.
Song.
Me,
okay.
you, and Mike.
Okay.
I don't know Mike, but you
Rob,
can put
Mike,
me in.
and I, we don't stop making records. We don't stop writing songs. We don't stop anything. It happens all the time.
We were at dinner the other night. I'm sitting next to him and I'm asking him this question. He said, "Let me show you something." He's got 220 songs.
Oh
that
yeah,
he's working
we were
on.
talking about that.
And I told you on the ride, I'm like, this
Yeah.
guy is unbelievable. This is this guy.
Right.
I'm like, what? And I'm looking at the lyrics. These are completed lyrics. I'm like, what am I doing in my life wrong?
Look,
this guy's got 200 on. He's working
And
on.
he lives, his house, you could throw a tennis ball from his back sliding door onto the property of the Beverly Hills Hotel, like the most prime real estate in all of LA. You could be retired, you could sell that
You have a
house
room
and
for me? I want the one
downsize.
next to the studio.
But yet he's working on 200 songs.
Well, that's it. We're madmen when it comes to this
Yes,
stuff.
no,
you know?
it's true, and I'll show you. I showed him this, and again, this you got to have one. Now, this just comes from what is that? July of 2024. This particular
2 years
folder,
ago, almost 2 years.
Yeah, from this particular folder. Okay, so each one of these is a song, is a lyric, right?
Yeah.
So I'll show you this first.
I don't know if you can catch that on camera. You scroll it. So this is what he showed me. I'm like, what is like? Well, I'm thinking, what am I doing wrong? I do 200 records a year, and he's got 220 in his.
Well, no, this is
in progress.
This is but since 2019, I've written 4,500 about lyrics.
Unbelievable.
That's like that's impossible.
That's because he doesn't have any friends other than us.
That's right.
And so he's got a lot of time on his hands.
No, it's very
Help
sad.
me, Lord.
It's very sad.
And
And the amazing, he knows everybody in the entertainment industry in Los Angeles. How he's had the time to meet and get to know all these people and do that is beyond me.
So this was 7 a.m.
Yeah.
7:12.
Oh well, you
a.m.
don't sleep. Well,
Right.
that answers
but
a lot.
But there's a whole bunch that are like 1 a.m. or 3 or 11 o'clock, and then there are some during the day. When I tell you about being inspired by stuff, I was at the eye doctor, waiting for the eye doctor.
Then who wouldn't be inspired by that?
Oh no, it's obvious. And so something came up, and there was, maybe it was about seeing and not seeing, or one of these kind of contradiction things.
Nothing important. Yeah, you may be blind in 3 months.
But I was sitting there waiting for the doctor to come in, and it was just, and I'm not saying it's a good song or bad song or anything. It just was a thing, right? So I was writing this lyric, and I tend to not spend a whole lot of time on these things. But the girl comes in and oh, can we take your eyes? I said, just give me a second. I'm right in the middle of this chorus. And so, but
my exam is going to have to tell
you're
the
gonna
doc
have
to
to
wait.
wait. You're gonna have to wait.
Tell the
Something's
doc, give
happening
me
here.
3 minutes.
And so.
What rhymes with macular degeneration?
Yeah, exactly. So, but people have asked me this, and Brian Wilson felt the same way. See, I said the last name.
Thank you. I was right there. I was jumping in, baby.
Brian felt the same way about this, that it all came from God. That all of the inspiration, all of the stuff, I told you this, all came from God. And so somebody will say to me, oh, what are you doing? I'll casually say, we're writing a lot of songs, a lot of lyrics. Oh my gosh, there's tons of things. And they'll say, well, why? Oh, and then I'll say, and some of these things, whole lines, whole verses, the whole thing is just like in a minute and a half.
Yeah.
And I know it's not me. I mean, I'm just writing this down as it comes to me. And I say, well, God, has sent these things. That's all I can tell you. And he says, well, if that's the case, why didn't he do it before? Why didn't he do it 5 years ago?
Or for everybody who's religious.
Yeah. And I
you
said,
could make that argument.
But why is it now? And I said, well, maybe I wasn't listening.
Maybe you weren't. In
Great
God's
point.
time and man's time at two different times.
But I'm listening now. And that's why in the middle of the night, if I wake up and there's something, or even a melody or something, I don't. Oh yeah, well, it's okay. I immediately wake up and write it down or sing it into a thing or whatever. Right? Paul McCartney talks all the time about how yesterday came to him in a dream.
Yeah,
and he thought
scrambled eggs.
Yeah, and he thought it was somebody else's song, and he played it for everybody. Is this some? And same with "Let It Be."
It brings up a great point in this modern day that we live in the AI era. People. I've just read an article in Forbes or something. I don't know, the last 30 days. Will AI replace God? Yeah. Maybe for some people who aren't religious, don't believe in God, and that becomes their God. Who knows? To each his own, I guess. But
there aren't enough hours in this segment to
to get into this. Thing. But you do have to open yourself up. And I'm encouraging everybody watching this. Have you seen The Madison yet with Kurt Russell and Michelle Pfeiffer?
No.
It's another Taylor.
Is it?
Yeah, and it's on Paramount, which you can get through Apple Plus and then go into the Paramount tab. It's incredible. It's only 6 episodes right now. Kurt Russell plays a wealthy New York businessman who's cool. He's not a suit and tie kind of guy. Michelle Pfeiffer's his wife. They live a blessed life in a Manhattan high-rise on Park Avenue, I'm sure. I'm not going to give any plot away. All I can tell you is about every 90 seconds, there's another line, you're writing it down going, that's absolutely the basis of a song. And I'm not encouraging anybody to take the lines word for word. Don't copy them verbatim, but look at what that line means, what it says, because it's a very heartfelt show, unlike other Taylor Sheridan stuff, which is a little more
edgy.
It's edgier and action-oriented. Billy Bob, where he takes the lawyer lady out to
how many barrels of oil it takes to make this and put that thing 50 feet up in the air?
The greatest 2.5 minutes of television ever made.
It's unbelievable.
So
unbelievable. You
watch
don't think
the Madison.
If this didn't make money, you don't think that Standard Oil would be out here putting up?
Boy, you have watched.
Oh yeah, I've seen that bit.
It's one of the greatest scenes ever put in a TV show.
Incredible.
And he pulls it off beautifully. And I've got to say, she's a relative newcomer, but she is perfect with him in that.
She's
scene.
great. She's great in the part where she's talking to those other lawyers. And she says, I'm not a pretty face. If they, they pay me $800 an hour or something, blah, blah. Oh gosh, she's great.
She is great. The whole cast is great.
That guy, I'll tell you, he just, oh my gosh, the
Taylor
stuff he
Sheridan.
puts.
Yeah.
And with Yellowstone, the girl, the daughter of that's
Beth.
so tough. Yeah, Beth. Do you know? I kept looking at her. Why do I know this girl? She's the would-be wife of Watson in Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey.
Oh, that's right.
She's the would-be
And
wife.
she's British, actually.
And but she plays such a soft,
Yeah.
so different from Beth.
Oh, she's a hurricane.
Holy
man.
moly.
Yeah.
She is so great in that. And she has great words to say.
Yes,
she has. It shows she has. There's a song. There's the song. So that's script. That's a song, right? That's the song.
What is the
she's
song?
the artist.
Words to say?
She's the artist.
That's
so
a song.
she has. Yeah. That's right.
She's
but
an artist.
but there's her
That's
her lyrics are that script,
Yeah.
and then she can present them unbelievably. So you've got the great song,
Well,
and you've got
there's
the
your
great
homework
percentage.
assignment, kids. Watch
Yeah.
anything that Taylor Sheridan makes, but I've seen most of them, if not all of them, and I can tell you that
He's a brilliant
the
guy.
new one, the Madison, there are so many ways to get ideas for songwriting there. But let's pivot to sync now, strictly sync. What makes a song great for an artist record, but wrong for sync? And I'm going to go to Rob on this one because he's been remarkably
Yeah.
quiet for the last half hour.
Well, I
What-
didn't see that show. I don't know the show.
No,
But
I know.
You
That's
convinced
what I'm
me.
saying. So, yeah, you got to watch it. What makes a song great for an artist,
Oh.
but wrong for sync? Because a lot of people that want to be artists have a piece of music and go, oh, this would be great for film and TV, wouldn't it?
Sometimes it is great for film and TV, but I think the distinction is easier to describe if we talk about ad music, music for ads.
Okay, let's talk about that.
But in any event, the songs that fit in the sync world, they have to serve the motion picture,
Right.
and that's the key element. Whether it's an ad, a television show, and the mood of the film, that's the first order of business, isn't it? But if it's a song for an artist, then the artist has to relate, of course, but the audience is completely different. The song itself has to tell the whole story, and it has to resonate with the listener. So
And it has to somehow be compatible with whatever it is, ad, movie, TV, whatever, and that's very tough. That's very tough. I'll tell you that they have a bunch of shows on the CW, right?
Mhm.
And they have interesting music in a lot of those that you've never heard before because they're generally lower budget television
Right.
shows. And so they're using independent artists and independent songs. And 'cause
Shows like that made it possible for independent artists to get their stuff in TV
I've
shows.
Googled a whole bunch. There was a show that was on the CW that went to, let's say it was Netflix, I'm pretty sure. It was called Lucifer.
I've heard of it,
and
but
it was
I've never watched it.
It was a big show, probably bigger on Netflix than it was on CW. But the guy that plays Lucifer owns a kind of a club, and so they play music in the club. And some of the music was so good, I would Shazam it,
Yeah.
and the same like you're saying, right? And because it was so good, and it had 3,000 Shazam, so it was nothing, a little something. So they had good people there, or somebody was deciding on songs that were real good, I thought, and that makes it nice too if you can reach those people to be a source for them,
You're saying reach out to the music
Yeah.
supervisor.
There's a couple of guys I play basketball with. One guy in particular, this was a good year and a half ago or so, and he's a songwriter with his partner, and they make records and blah, blah, blah. And they got a Toyota commercial, right? And they got a lot of money, for this, $150,000 or something. It was a big deal, big deal. And they were part of the submission process, whatever Toyota was deciding on. But it was an instrumental. It just happened to fit the dynamic of what they were looking for, right? And they used it for a long time. And I don't know if they re-upped it or not, but
They did.
it was a big deal for this guy. And, those kind of things don't come along too often. But the whole thing with submissions, like with Dirty Dancing, as I said, it was the only songs we got. We made them fit.
It was a different era though. But nowadays, Maureen Crow, one of the great music supervisors of all time, I interviewed her for the Road Rally probably 8 or 9 years ago, and she made one of the top 10 greatest things ever said on that stage. Pay attention, kids. She said, nothing upsets me more than people that come running up to me holding out a CD when I come off the stage at one of these events. You got to hear my song. Everybody says it's great. She said, that actually repulses me. Don't ever do it to me.
Well, that happened to me about every road rally.
I know, but she's in the capacity
So
of
what's
being
wrong with that?
Yeah,
here's why. Because
Okay.
in the capacity of being a music supervisor.
That was me that handed it to her, by the way.
Come on, don't throw me off my game here.
Okay, sorry.
But she went on to say, however, at a recent event I did, I walked off the stage and a young girl walked up to me and said, I know you're working on this show and it takes place in Albania. and I'm making that part up, but very specific stuff. This girl had searched IMDb. She read the log line for the script and everything, and she said, my family is Albanian. I grew up making Albanian music. I've got a CD full of it. And Maureen Crowe gave her a hug and took the music, and it made it
so it wasn't just a general
right
thing.
I've got the greatest song ever. It doesn't cut it, because people don't they think it's like the record business, where a great song becomes a hit. A great song, you do music supervision. If somebody comes to you with a song that's A triple plus, it rocks on every level: lyric, melody, production, vocal performance, and you're going, oh my gosh, this is one of the top 10 best things I've heard in a decade. But you can't just put it into a scene. You're not going to call the writer up and say, rewrite the scene.
You got to have the project.
Right, you got to have the song that makes people cry when the 12-year-old kid is burying his face in his hand.
I'll tell you something that is and some of this is around Diane Warren, but it's a general old school music publisher thing.
Okay.
If you want to get in stuff, don't say, well, I'm traveling to Phoenix, and don't.
Oh yeah, specific location.
Yeah, specific thing.
Oh yeah.
Or I'm in Albania.
We put it in every single one of our listings that says names, places, dates, times. Leave all those specifics
all those things out.
General feelings.
Yeah.
She made me feel like $1 million.
Relationship songs. That's a lot what Diane Warren writes.
Yeah.
And that's why they can be used in almost any movie. I mean, the song that she had in the Bruce Willis movie about the meteor crashing in. That movie.
Right.
That Aerosmith sang, right?
Yeah.
Don't want to miss a thing, or
yeah.
It had nothing to do with the movie.
No, but it
was
about
a relationship song.
Yeah.
So you could say that it was about the daughter and Bruce Willis, or it's about the boyfriend and her. I mean, it's a relationship song, and it worked.
Do you know we're getting a lot of people asking us recently for non-romantic relationship songs?
Yeah.
I mean, it's always been, you can always use a love song sooner or later, although there's a glut of them out there, I'm sure. But all of a sudden, over the last 6-7 months, I would say, we've had a lot of people saying, I want non-romantic, it could be about you and your dog, could be about you and your broader general family, it could be about you and your friends, just nothing about, I love you, honey, you're the woman for me. I don't know why that trend is happening, but it is.
I think a lot of it is because there's a breakdown in relationships.
Because of social media.
Everything.
Because of these bad boys.
Everything.
Yeah.
There is definitely a breakdown. And you see guys that are afraid to say anything to women, that say the wrong thing. You see women that want a certain thing. It's everybody being influenced by social media.
I'm glad I'm not dating right now.
No, things you can't live up to. I mean, try to be a woman right now, and you see all the pictures of the ones that are the desirable ones, the ones that are incredible. 90% of them are all AI.
I saw a thing this morning when I was having my coffee. The guy, I believe in India, who invented this beautiful girl and created this.
A huge thing, right?
Yeah, and he's making, I don't know, $10,000 a day or a month or whatever it was.
As a model, influencer, all that.
Yeah, exactly.
And so how do
nothing but zeros and ones.
How do you live up to that? How do you? I mean, it's always been a problem. But with Photoshop that went back so long, but now, I mean, Cindy Crawford, they showed a thing with Cindy Crawford, who was, by the way, a big model back in the day. They showed in what they did with her in Photoshop for some big ad. This is years ago. They showed this, how they took inches off of her legs and did this.
Wow.
Did everything to make it beyond belief, right? Well, now it's unbelievable what
you
they
could
do.
Just type a prompt.
Yeah, it's unbelievable what they do, and that is it's so difficult for anyone to live up to that. How do you live up to that? Oh, I'll never be that way. Oh gosh. It's true. You can't live up to that because it isn't real.
No, but you know what?
So
You
we're
could-
talking about music, or are we talking about
Right.
this? Because those
Well,
two things
I'm-
seem to be interconnected
Yes,
in a
yes.
certain way.
Well,
think
it
I
has
think they
changed
are.
the world. There's no question,
Yeah.
and we won't get into the whole AI discussion today because that's a whole other episode. I'm sure we'll talk about it at the Road Rally, which is coming up in November.
I
Let
just
me-
was thinking about that.
Yeah,
You know,
let me look right now and see.
I was just thinking about that.
I don't know
You're
the
probably
date.
you're probably getting.
I'm
set
starting
up
May
for it.
15th is when I officially start working on the rally every year.
May 15th.
Yeah, that's when I start working on it.
Oh
But the
my
road rally
gosh.
is actually, whoops, wrong button. The road rally is coming up November
Still got a lot
5th through the 8th this year. November
I want
5th.
my own panel, by the way,
You do?
without Michael Lloyd
Oh,
and
okay.
without Ron Harris.
Really?
Without you.
I don't know if you're serious or you're kidding.
Totally
'Cause-
kidding.
Okay, 'cause I'm starting to make my list.
Oh my
All
God!
right,
Yeah, you got to check it twice.
Okay.
I got to tell you, I'm getting ready. I got ready to stand up, get out of here. I mean, you know.
We got about another half hour to go.
Oh, gee, that's too much.
We've only done 90 minutes. I want to turn this into 2 episodes for when I'm out of town.
Make it, just do this thing and stretch it.
There you
we'll
go.
talk slow.
I'll write a prompt that says
Well, I
stretch this in real
don't
time.
know. We'll do it like real slow.
Are professionals both in sync and in records? Rob, I want to hear from you on this, please. Do you find that the more experienced and professional somebody is, that the more likely they are able to take criticism or advice, or if, you and I are working together, you're the artist, I'm your producer, and I say, Rob, I'm telling you, you got to let go of the guitar solo in this song. It's not that kind of song. It doesn't work. Has it been your experience that one of the ways that professionalism manifests itself is that the more experienced and professional you become, the easier it is for you to ingest and appreciate creative opinions from those in your inner circle?
It's a good question. The people that I've found are the best and most successful, they listen to everybody's opinion and they want it. And the people they surround themselves with don't give them opinions unless it's really thoughtful.
Okay.
So it works both ways. So the artists and the people that I've been lucky enough to work with, they want to hear if I have something to offer, that I'm not going to just start shooting from the hip. I want to make sure that I'm going to, so that when I do give something, it's meaningful. It's
Right.
not, you can't get into a routine where, the little delay needs to be a tenth of a dB louder and then the session stops. I mean, a lot of the stuff in the real rooms are happening because you hear conversations, you make adjustments, whether it's in the production or the arrangement. You might catch somebody trying to communicate something and you're acting on it in the moment before it gets said. That's another piece of the process, especially with, really great, experienced people. Did that answer your question?
You did. Basically, what you said was don't shout out opinions all the time just because you want to be heard and want to be one of the cool kids. But if you reserve those moments for really well thought out stuff that people will...
Yeah, I don't mean you sit there and you think, but your experience guides you on that. Because you might hear 2 or 3 things, but you can't say you don't like that lyric because the lyricist is in the couch there, hanging on to everything. Their personality, you have to read personalities. You have to have a sense
like
of
a
the
producer.
room. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's in. Sometimes people, can be, very passionate about something, and you have to be respectful of that stuff, even if whatever the circumstances may be. And oftentimes, the best solution is, if 2 people are talking, a lot of times I'll say, you know what, it's going to take me a second. Why don't we just try it? We throw it up. It takes so little time to try things. And those sometimes lead you to something so much better. Don't oppose those things.
Okay.
There's a lot of people that resist that because they want to be right with that for any extreme of it. They just they won't. That has to be someone that would be a little higher up, but that ends up being the client if it's an ad, or if it's a music supervisor. Theoretically, they're the client, And so they would kind of have no, I like the guitar. Could be that.
Yeah.
Or yes, you're absolutely right. And so you know, that's always a buffer. That's always a thing. And that could be a real powerful artist. You know, I've had I won't say who, but
Tell us who.
In the morning at 10
will at dinner.
In the morning at 10 o'clock. Oh, it's just perfect. You understood. Oh, it's just great. And then at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, don't you ever listen to me? You know,
why is that? Because they played it for somebody else between 10 and 4?
That's what I think.
Yeah.
And now maybe not. Maybe they just lived with it and they have such insecurity about things. It's unbelievable. Now, somebody that is ridiculously good at all this is Barry Manilow. Barry is a writer, a producer, a performer, a musician. He just is incredible. He does all of these things, and he's very, very good. So we were doing a record called 15 Minutes. This is maybe, 12 years ago, 15 years ago. And on one of the songs, we happened to record it with a band. Like a lot of the songs we used a band, actually people. And,
Actually people.
Yeah. And so he said, you know, this bridge, guys, I'm not happy. We can go right from the verse into the whatever it was right afterward. Let's take out those 8 bars. Okay. We take out the 8 bars, blah, blah, blah. We're working on it a little bit. And then Clive wanted us to do an album of love songs. This came up right in the middle of doing this record. So we had to stop that 15 Minutes record and do the Love Songs album. And that was very different with the big orchestra and all that. Again, real musicians, really incredible. We did it at the soundstage over at 20th Century Fox.
Nice.
It was a big orchestra. And I just went out and stood in the middle of the orchestra because I'm never around a big thing of real instruments. Oh my gosh, it was incredible. But anyway.
Did you put your ears in Omni?
I did. I did. Yeah, I just walked in a circle. So, but it was just great. So now we finish that and come back to 15 Minutes. And he says, you know, I was wrong. We need that 8 bars.
Wow.
But I love that. That's
awesome. See,
Yeah.
it's really, it just goes to show you.
Can drive you nuts, but
yes, but it goes to show you that he was so into it. Wasn't just an arbitrary thing. He had really thought about it and listened to it, but he wanted to change it a little bit. Well, it didn't exist, and I couldn't call the musicians back in. It would never sound the same. So I cut and pasted, took a thing, blah, 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 played some stuff, and stuck the 8 bars back in with the slight change, and it all worked fine. But he's so detailed on things, and he is the kind of person when I would say, well, let's just try this. Okay. You know, and he would say, you know, I want to try this, and I would say, okay. Because, you know, now I wasn't around Phil Spector enough to see day-to-day stuff, but I was there when he did the track of Love and Feelin' and a couple of other things over at Gold Star, and no one ever said anything to him. It wasn't like, oh, well, Phil, do you think so?
Because they were scared of him?
I don't know. He just was...
They were afraid he'd shoot him?
Well, you know, a lot of those guys, I mean, Richard Perry and Phil Spector Phil Spector would take a gun and put it down on the console.
Yeah.
So... Yeah.
I love Richard, by the way.
Yeah. And so, But so he cut one of the great records of all time with that Carly Simon, Nobody Does It Better.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of great ones.
Gosh. But anyway, some people have you know, I don't think anyone questioned Brian Wilson. Right. I don't think anybody ever questioned him. It was just, you know, Hal Blaine didn't say, well, Brian, do you... Oh, I will tell you one thing they did question him on, which was the bass part of God Only Knows.
Wow.
Because Carol was playing the bass on it. Carol Kay was playing the bass, and they might have had a chord sheet, or they made their own chord sheet up, you know, once Brian played it or something. And so they get to the, I may not... Right, the beginning thing. It's a D. And she played a D. And he says, no. No, Brian would say, that's not the way it is. You got to play an A.
Yeah.
Oh no, but
D
that's
over A.
it was a D chord over an A, which is the fifth of the
Right.
D. And so she started, and he wanted that A. The next chord is a B minor. He wanted that to go A to the B instead of D and go down to the B. He wanted it to come up from the A, and it was a big deal. I talked about this at Occidental to a harmony or a songwriting class,
Okay.
and it made all the difference in the world, and it happens through the song. There are different bass parts, and Carol didn't, at the beginning it was like, well, it should be a D. No, it's an A. So, but
Root movement and root motion is
Yeah.
a motherfucker, man. You
Yeah.
can really.
but I think that certain people, everybody just listens to.
bass player.
They just listen to, like they listen to Rob. They don't
That's
do what he
good.
says, but they listen to him.
That's good. That's good.
No, but it's such a big deal. It's such a big deal, but getting back to the sync, what he was talking about is all so true. I mean, it's just
Well, I was actually thinking, in the studio making records, the artist, but that's exactly right. Like all that being open-minded and
it's hard for a lot of people.
it was hard for me at the
They have a
beginning.
vision.
You hear it a certain way, and then and a lot of times you're right, sometimes you're wrong. I think that comes with maturity and experience and figuring things out.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, more than once I thought that something that somebody suggested was just not going to work, and I tried it, and don't you know it worked?
Yeah. Yeah.
Be open-minded, give it a shot. Give it a
I mean,
fair
he
shot.
didn't admit it. You didn't admit it.
I
but,
never admitted it.
Never admit it.
But no, there have been times when I've said, I didn't think that was going to work, but I love it.
Yeah.
And nobody is happier than me to discover that it's better. That's fine.
A lot of people wouldn't have the courage
No,
to say
they
that
wouldn't. No,
because
no.
they would worry that the next time,
Absolutely.
if you
Good
disagree
point.
with something,
When at the beginning of my career, that's exactly how I felt. But over the years, you establish, yourself a little bit, and then people say, it's not like he doesn't know what he's doing, So you can have a much looser,
you've earned their trust.
interactive. You've earned trust. Yeah, you have over time.
Or it's just fear.
It could be that. It could be that.
He's going to key my car again. or slash the tire.
Exactly.
Could be fear.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It is kind of amazing how many tires get slashed at studio parking lots, considering they all have a gate, at least in this town. But I've heard stories over the years about tire slashing.
Never heard that.
Okay, here's a question.
By the way, can you drop me off at the Pep Boys?
Is simplicity underrated in records and sync? Let's stick with sync. We've talked a lot about records today.
In what way is simplicity? What do you mean?
Underrated? Like people always want to put more stuff in. Oh, we could add this. We could add that. We
Less
could,
is more.
Yeah.
Thank you. I've seen that literally for the 34 years this company has existed.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever members talk to me personally at the road rally or an email or whatever, and they say, "Oh, I got a great placement." Just curious, was it one of your simpler tracks? Yeah. Why did you ask that? Because I hear it all the time. So people have a compulsion, and it's understandable. Oh, we could do that. We could put a mandolin part in there.
Right,
It'd be
right,
really cool.
right.
We could add a banjo, or we
Well, it's
could.
because you have 7 billion tracks that you
Right.
can do it, and you don't have
Right.
to. You don't
And
have
you have to pay.
and you don't have to go rent an upright
Right.
bass
Right.
or find a player.
Yeah.
So I would think it'd be very easy to fall into the trap of just sitting there
Overproduction.
endlessly. Yeah, just layering stuff in. And then you have to be honest with yourself, or the people in the room, coming back to what we were just talking about, have to be honest with you. Rob, I think you took this one a little farther than it needs to go. Let's strip it back. Are you...
Moi?
No, I'm just throwing. I just needed a name and I had to look over at you. But
You meant Michael, but you
Yeah,
were looking
exactly.
at me.
Right, exactly. Anyway,
Well,
good.
I think that becomes part of arranging and part of the sonic palette of the thing. It's
Yeah, and it's maturity and
yeah.
experience.
and,
Yeah.
and sometimes you keep adding things because what you have originally just isn't very good.
Yeah, you keep
trying to-
adding things, and I'll add one more thing because this is another great point. Did you finish what you're going to say?
Yeah, I finished what I was going to say 2 hours
2
ago.
hours ago. Well, we're still here. So one of the things, when I get records to mix in the mixing world, a lot of times I'll have layered guitars. So there'll be a Strat, and it'll say 87, 57, 47.
Each on
Yeah.
their own
These are
tracks.
all
Jeez.
microphones,
Oh.
and then DI, and then there'll be the double of it, which will have 3 or 4 mics, a tube mic, a condenser mic, a dynamic mic, and a ribbon mic. There'll be 4 of these, and then I'll put them on, and then there's a sort of a counterpoint guitar, and then there's a melodic guitar, and then there's a Rickenbacker guitar, whatever the guitars are. There's like 30 guitars in all these microphones. And Chiarelli, how'd you make it feel so big? Well, I muted 3 of those 4 mics.
Yeah.
I picked the one that really sounded good, and so simplicity, sometimes is absolutely underrated.
Well, think back to Brian Wilson records, Beach Boy records, Beatle records. It was a guitar.
A guitar.
Yeah.
It was another guitar, and it was the bass and the drums,
And those
that
voices.
was it. And those voices, and with Brian, like on Surfing USA, let's say, there's Tommy Tedesco, I think, playing guitar, Carol playing bass, Hal playing drums. I can't tell you who's playing rhythm guitar, but there was another guitar. And now let's talk about the technique of how that was recorded. Well, for Hal Blaine, back in those days, it was a Sony C37 mic.
Great mic.
Over the
I
drums.
love that mic.
Over the drums. Maybe there was a kick. I'm unsure about that, but maybe there was a kick. And then there was that was it on
Yeah.
the drums. And then there was a bass, but there could have been another bass. Probably not on Surfing USA, but with Spectre, there could have been 2 or 3 basses.
Well, Mountain High Valley Low
Yeah,
sounds
and
like
then,
there's 10 basses on that
two or
record.
couple of electric piano, regular piano, whatever.
Yeah.
Acoustic guitar sitting there, not on Surfing USA, but sitting there. Anyway, they only had 12 or 13 mic inputs at Gold Star
Right.
and at Studio 3. They only had, so it wasn't like, and they ended up going on to a track or maybe 2 tracks if there was a 4-track, but I don't think Surfing USA was a 4-track, maybe, but
Wow.
it was on a track, and then that was that. They had to make decisions right then.
Decisions.
And what
Decisions,
happened
yes.
as they got more tracks, 8-track, 16, 24, 2 machines sunk together, 48, Bohemian Rhapsody, 3 machines sunk together, Dirty Dancing, 3 machines sunk together. All that did was postpone decisions. And with Pro Tools or something, you have
never have to make one because everything's non-destructive.
and it's yes, but it's 80 tracks. I've done many records where it's easy 80 tracks.
Wow.
And all you're
Kidding
doing,
me? I got 200, 250
yeah, exactly.
tracks.
And you're postponing
every day.
decisions.
Wow.
Postponing decisions. Sometimes that's a good thing, but those old records, you can't duplicate them. They have a certain thing about them, and it's a crazy world. It's a crazy world about this. So
Well-
and it gets back to if you can postpone decisions, you can accommodate certain ideas from people. Perhaps easier, obviously, but I would love to record. If I had the courage to do it, I would love to record something where the bass and the drums and I don't know something else, they were all on a track, and then you had maybe
Let's do
something
it.
else on a couple of tracks, and you just did it very minimalistically. You didn't have 100 guitars. I have problems about that. I'll say, well, let's just double it, and really I shouldn't.
Yeah.
I should just let it be the way it is because it has a personality with one, and sometimes you
It's
lose
okay
that.
if you double it, but you have the wisdom to know that the double's there as a safety, and that you probably won't use it, but you could, and most of the time you don't.
I just went through a song that Mike and I wrote, and I was doing 2 or 3 different guitars, and I need another part, and then I turned off like 4 of them, and I thought, wow, that sounds really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
that's-
spent
Were
like
you
a day.
here when Rob said that?
Yeah.
He was on his phone. He was
No,
checking his
yeah,
writing
yeah.
lyric. He had a lyric
I
idea.
had something happening.
Let
here.
me ask you something in your capacity when you're music supervising. Even if the song is perfect, a lot of people don't know, so I'm going to elucidate a little on this right now, that a music supervisor isn't an A&R person. They're not looking for hits. They're basically more like a casting director for a movie. The director is probably
Right.
deciding
That's
what
right.
lands in the movie,
Exactly.
and your job as the music supervisor is
Service
to
him.
intuit what they would probably be happy with, present them with options, and then do the paperwork. That's about it.
Right.
So let's say all the pieces to the puzzle fall into place. You find the perfect thing for the movie, and the person who created that music is inexperienced, so inexperienced that they lack professionalism. They're, well, I want this kind of deal. I want that kind of
sure.
deal.
Oh, yeah.
Do you walk away from that, even though it was perfect? If you've given it a fair shot at like reining this person
You
in,
have no choice.
okay.
You have no choice. There was a girl upstairs, where we were some years ago. She wrote a great song. It was great. And invariably, when I say to somebody, oh yeah, I wrote it. Then I'll say, did you write the whole thing? Well, I did it with my boyfriend. Right? Okay. So then I said, and I had a...
Is he still your boyfriend?
Yes, well, yes. And so I had a movie just by coincidence that could have gone in. And I said, you need paperwork. You need to have paperwork that you can control this, that you can say where it goes, blah, 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 blah. And and I introduced her to an attorney to do that, right? And he started to work with her. Oh, I don't really need to do this. He's my boyfriend, And I said, look, I've seen this happen. I've seen it happen time and time again, where the person will say, just like you said.
Yeah.
Well, and she says, look, it's important to her to get in the movie, so she's the artist, and she'll take nothing, or $100, right? And the boyfriend says, well, I wanted some money from this, right? We should get $500.
And then they hire a real estate lawyer to do the deal.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and but nothing happened.
But he did take one music law course 70 years ago.
Yeah,
No,
but
he
they,
didn't.
They didn't. And then she broke up with him, right? And now, so she couldn't use the song. And then the opportunity goes away. I've seen it happen time and time again. So it's important that they get some kind of understanding with whoever it is.
Agreement,
Yeah,
work for
but
hire,
somebody
all that
has to be
stuff.
in
A
charge.
deal memo.
Yes,
Yeah.
somebody has to be in charge of that and be able to agree. A lot of the movies that come along, particularly the ones that are, we want the Beatles. Oh, we can't afford the Beatles. We want something like that. And Maureen Crowe finds this thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
She will invariably ask somebody, is this, some one person can say yes. And because I can't go to these people and think that I've got to get four opinions, four yeses, right?
That's called a one
Cluster.
stop. One stop.
Oh,
Yeah,
I was
right.
making
Yeah,
a
yeah,
joke.
yeah.
I know what it's
yeah.
really called.
So that's so important. That's really, really important, and because you lose the opportunity.
Yeah.
We win on so many placements because we can do it.
We meaning you in the Highfields.
Yeah,
so I want to go
any
to you.
of us any of us can sign a yes on
Right.
anything.
Right.
We're like, hey, Rob gets this done deal,
Yeah.
We're doing it.
Right.
Let me ask you, because you and the Highfields have been tremendously successful with placing stuff in TV commercials over the last 6, 7, 8 years now, whatever it's been. Been a run, a lot of big spots, and I'm assuming a lot of those were really good paydays. What has changed? No, let me re-ask that question. What does Joe or Joe Ellen, who's just starting out in the business and learning about sync, I think this would be great for a commercial. They're naive. They don't know what they don't know yet. What do they need to know in today's contemporary advertising, music for advertising scenario? Can you give them like 3 or 4 bullet points? Okay, if you want to get your music in advertising, you should know this, you should know that, you should know another thing.
you should be able to sign a deal as quickly as possible, a
Right.
one-stop like we just talked
Right,
about.
right.
You have to have the ability to do that. I think that gives you a huge advantage.
And so many of them aren't like that.
You know, I hate to say this too, but you know, if you have musicians on the, you know, on the recording, you have to have a work for hire agreement with them.
Gosh, oh my
So
God.
that, again, you don't have any, you know, roadblocks along the way there. And
Got to control every part of it.
yeah, and if you get, you know, and have a good attitude above it. Above all else, too, you know, be open-minded if they need a change and do it quickly.
Yeah.
You know, get to it, man. You know, don't fight that because,
But it's my art.
It's not art at that point.
you know,
You're
Taylor
servicing
Dane said to
something.
me,
Right.
get over it. She didn't say it to me. I was the engineer, the mixer.
Who said it?
Taylor Dane
Okay.
was sitting in there, and the producers there. I want to remain nameless, but and I mentioned the delay throw earlier, and that was been in my mind for the last 7 hours we've been sitting here. So we're working. A song is done. You know, she gets lunch or something, comes back, and she's like, we're in the same place we were, and she's like, well, what's going on? And we're working on this delay. She's like, show me. Right? Soul of it. She's like, that thing?
No.
That thing? Get over it. And I'm like, that is perfect. What a perfect thing to say.
Yep.
And the thing was then printed and we're done. You know, come on, man. If it's, you know, if they want you to cut the intro in half or give them an instrumental, be ready for it. If they want you to change a word from shoelaces to shoestrings, then you know what? Change the lyric. Just do it and get to it and be easy to work with. Because that, you started this whole thing by talking about the difference between doing it for a hobby and being professional. A professional is going to approach it that way. Make the change. See if that works better for them. And win
Yeah.
sometimes. You have to get those first, you said someone who's new at it.
Mm-hmm.
When you get that first placement, the whole universe opens up because you realize in that moment you can do it.
And people on the other side realize that you were
That
good
you-
enough to get in that one. You may have another one in you.
yeah,
Credibility.
That's how Manilow started.
yeah.
Right. I remember that.
He did the State Farm commercial
Yep.
that's still being played today. Here's the downside to
Jesus.
the old way of doing things. He did that. I am stuck on, you are stuck on a Band-Aid and a Band-Aid. So the girl that sang the State Farm commercial, whoever she was, bought 3 houses, right? Barry got paid something like $500.
Wow.
And that was it.
He wrote it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was it.
Well, that's 10 times what Willie got for Crazy.
And so he learned right away, oh, you got to be singing the commercial.
Yeah, get those union fees.
And he sang on a whole bunch of things after that.
Yeah.
But
You want me to answer that for you?
no, that's Nancy.
I know.
Wow.
So, but the incredible thing about it is that, and that still happens today. But you know, writing the commercial back then wasn't a big deal. Now, if you have a record and it's Like a Rock by Bob Seger, it's the Chevy commercial for 20 years.
Right.
And, you know, he made more from that than he would have made in his record career.
Probably.
So those kind of placements are another thing. But now when Rob is doing placements, you know, they have the record and they have the song. I mean, they have the recording
Right.
and they have the
Yep.
song.
One
so
stop.
it's a one stop. It's you know, they're not gonna. You got to do that. You got to do that, and that gets back to the paperwork business side of it.
You know,
I'm ready to leave.
yeah, me too. I'm going to wrap up here. In a
He's
couple
only got
minutes.
5 more pages. Don't worry about
I
it.
do actually have about 4 more
Wait,
pages
look,
worth
it's
of notes.
it's 5:53. It's getting dark. Oh no, I guess it isn't.
What time is it? Oh, it is 5:50.
Yeah,
Wow.
oh, now he looks at. Oh, it is late.
Well, I wanted to
Oh.
get a lot of good stuff here.
Well,
We got good stuff.
No, we
we'll
don't
come
have-
back again. We'll come back again.
We don't have time for
yeah,
this stuff.
I won't have time to get you back again until after this trip. You know what? I'm going to go to one thing before we wrap this up, which is Have you seen somebody go? You each have experience. You're working with an artist, Lindsay Webster, who got signed because of Taxi. She made a submission, got a record deal.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Bud Harner.
Right.
Lindsay, and let's mention Keith Slattery because he's the producer-writer with her. Those are a great team. Great team. Love them.
So she made one submission at Taxi. Bud Harner used to screen for us. He was one of the 5 or 10 most credible guys in the jazz community in the world right now. I mean, he's a great guy, super knowledgeable, very well respected. He screened jazz for us for years. He's been on panels at the Road Rally, and he heard her, and that's how she ended up getting her record.
Jazz artist?
Yeah.
Oh.
And what was her? She had the first AC, or what was it? She did the last person to do it on the charts was Sade. Lindsay was the first female jazz vocal that made it onto X chart and had a hit with it.
Oh, wow.
The record was a big deal. That was her first outing. So, and you found Owen. Owen found you. I guess it's better way.
No, they were just, someone had said, well, if you want to meet somebody. I don't know that he was waiting for me particularly. He was standing at the door as we left. That door that we go out.
Yeah,
just
at the Road Rally.
Yeah,
walking out of the
with
ballroom.
his mom and dad.
Right.
And he was not yet 13.
So he stalked you.
Yes, but he looked like a rock star.
I remember that kid.
Right at the.
I remember you introduced me to that kid.
Yeah,
that's the kid.
He was at the dinner that we were all at.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the anniversary of Patty's anniversary
thing. That's right. Yeah.
So the question I have is,
and he's 19 now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and he got signed to Curb Records because he walked up to you with his folks at the Road Rally, and you took the time to listen to his stuff and went, there's something there.
We took 2 or 3 years of recording stuff.
Yeah. So not easy. You didn't meet him at the Road Rally on Saturday afternoon, sign him on Sunday night, and then put the record out 90 days later?
No, the record, actually, we put out a couple of Christmas records, going back 3 years or so, and didn't do much. They got on the AC chart. He got on the Christmas chart.
I remember you telling me this stuff.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
And then last year, his record, Christmas record again, went to 5, stayed at kind of 5 the whole Christmas season. And so now we're putting out his record, pop record, like in a week or 10 days or something.
Wow.
But it's been a long haul getting there, and his
it's an overnight success story here.
6 years.
6 years. But putting out a record by a 14-year-old or a 15-year-old or a 16-year-old it shouldn't be, but age is a big deal. Older, younger.
Right, got to be in that 19 to 25 zone.
Yeah, and I hate that. I honestly do. Back in the days of Paul Anka and all that, he was 14.
That's a great movie, Paul Anka, His Way.
Yeah,
you got to see it.
Yeah.
I'll watch it again with you.
Yeah,
you know what?
Let's do pizza night.
He was young. He was very young, and there was a whole bunch of others that were young. So, but Justin Bieber was young, but it's hard. It's very hard. But in any event, he has a record coming out, and we're hoping for the best. It's going to be promoted pop.
So my question
Big money.
For both of you guys, though, is that you are working with these artists that started out as Taxi members, got signed, put out real records.
Yep.
So, Rob, can you jump in on Lindsay and say, how have you seen her mature and develop?
She was there.
She was already there.
How old is she?
She's young. She's 30, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. She looks 30. I don't know what her real age is.
Like business chops, the whole
Shouldn't even
package.
say that. She looks younger than that. But
She
I mean,
had
she's
it
about
all
30.
together when you first met her?
When I met her, I was like a bit of a fan, and then I became a super fan.
Okay.
Her voice is freaky good. And super sweet, really hardworking, great writer. And so is Keith, her producer. That's like a perfect...
They've been together since before she got signed, right?
Yeah, I think that was Keith and Lindsay who submitted to Taxi.
Okay.
She was the artist and he was the producer and co-wrote, I believe, most of their stuff.
Yeah.
And they're just the best to work with, too. I mean, it's a...
Does she have much socials going on?
think she's pretty good on that. I don't follow that stuff, but yeah, she's very active on all that. She's touring all over the place.
Which is another thing with Owen, because we started the social media thing, and it was slow, but he puts out he'll put a cover out. These are all covers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he'll put a cover on Thursday, and by Sunday he'll have, depending on the cover, 4, 5, 8, 100,000 views.
Wow.
And it took a while. I mean, it took a while to get there. Oh, here's another interesting thing for all you guys to know. It's not so much that I care or that anybody cares about how many followers you have. It's how many views, how many forwards, and how many comments. That's the big deal. Because Owen, for instance, I think on, let's say it's TikTok, he only has 125,000 followers. But he gets hundreds and hundreds, millions of views.
Wow.
Much better to have that because
people are going back to the well.
No, it's the algorithm that's sending it out.
Oh, I see.
He's hitting the algorithm. And Melinda, the girl.
What girl?
Oh, well, this wasn't from Taxi. I'm sorry. She's a.
Yeah, then that's irrelevant. We don't want to hear about
absolutely.
her.
I don't know why I brought it up. Forget I said anything. But it's the algorithm that you want to hit. And
everybody's trying to figure out how to hit it.
Well,
but they do tell you. There are tutorials where they will literally tell you how to do it.
It's this. Owen is being sent out by the algorithm because he couldn't possibly have 400,000 views even in 3 days or 2 days or whatever it happens to be
on his own.
Because they're on his own, because that would mean the 125,000 people have to see it 4 times. That isn't happening. None of that is happening. Maybe he has. I'm making this up. Maybe he has 5,000 or 10,000 people of his that see it. All the rest are
algorithmically induced.
Yes, exactly.
Generated.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, that's interesting.
And he gets more followers from that because then they see it. Oh, I like that, and then they follow him.
Right.
So
a self-fulfilling algorithm.
It's amazing. It's amazing, and I wish I knew the answer to it exactly, but for him, it's working.
How was he resistant to doing covers when you first suggested?
Never.
He just like, hey, you're the expert. Whatever you suggest, I'll try.
This is a guy who, from the very beginning, was, when you were saying let's try it, let's do it. He is so open to everything that you can't imagine, and he is so knowledgeable. Wow. This is a kid that knows everything about the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. He was talking to our head of promotion 4 years ago or so, and he knew who opened for Chicago and New York. Oh, on that concert it was incredible.
So he's like Rob with the New England Patriots.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, by the way, that's crazy about the coach, huh?
I don't know the details. I saw a couple things about that.
But he's now backed away. He's like not involved with the Patriots.
He took 3 days off. That's what I heard. I'm going to learn. Let's come back to the music because I want to point out that his guy.
But that was salacious. He's got a girlfriend. No, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
Welcome
it's like
to
rock
the music
and roll.
business.
Yeah, exactly.
Lindsay and Owen, coincidentally, from Taxi members, they're both right there, and I think that's really important to point out. Lindsay, I mean, you asked me a funny question though. She was everything you could want, the whole thing. Yeah, absolutely. And Keith the same way. Now I don't know what they did before I, met them, but as good as it gets.
Yeah,
in like every way, like open-minded, check. Cool to work with in the studio, check. Great hang, check. We talk all the time, and brainstorm, check. Kick my ass, check. You name it, good.
Yeah,
good. It's really.
I'm gonna go with you to our next show.
Let's go.
We'll do Boys' Night Out.
Oh,
I'll pick you up on the way.
I'll find out whenever it is. I'll be too tired trying to recover from this.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure sitting with you,
guys.
So shake this.
I do really appreciate you guys spending this much time with me because
what does the 8 ball say? Get out of here.
It says better not stay much longer.
But thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. These
Taxi
guys...
members, think of one thing. This gentleman here has been responsible for some great times for Rob and I.
Yeah.
We've met some great people. He is always helping everybody he can. And I see it all the time at the road rallies. I see it during the year. I see it all kinds of things. So we're joking about taking too long. Honestly, it's not the case. The thing is, we're grateful to be here and to be around him and to have a chance to learn and to, maybe help in some little way, but he helps in a really big way. So we're all Taxi fans, grateful for you guys out there, and we're hoping to see you in November at the upcoming Taxi Road Rally. So get your act together to be here.
Thank you for saying all that. I was.
He
gonna
slipped me a few bucks. I mean,
Right.
what can I do?
I was thinking about buying dinner at the
Yeah,
Rib Ranch.
but now forget
I
about it.
can't go to dinner. I gotta go.
Yeah, I can't.
Killing me, Smalls.
What I wanted to say was that's the amazing thing about the road rally is that people can do one-on-ones with you.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. It's great.
That's how Owen
No,
got
we're
signed to Curb Records
Yeah.
was because he was
And
at a
Lindsay,
road rally.
I mean, it's all
Well,
good.
she didn't get signed because of the road rally. She signed because she was a Taxi member, made a submission. But
Well, whatever. The whole thing was good.
Yeah, but we like to talk. We love meeting with people.
I know,
At the road
it's-
rally. We love it.
crazy to me how available you guys are and how kind you are with it. I mean, hopefully people watch this and go, wow, these guys know a lot. But that's because you've been doing it for a long time. You've gained all that expertise and experience.
Well, people were good to us too. I mean,
Yeah.
people may not have seen the earlier episodes of us, but I called you many times on Mike and the sax. What are we going to do?
Right.
This? How do I approach this? This is
4:00 in the morning. How do I mic a saxophone?
get up, wake up.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's a soprano sax. I hadn't done a soprano before, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I mean, you got to give back. It's the idea.
All right. So we're out of here.
Let me sign off from here.
And don't forget the
you
music.
guys.
We have music.
Now he's going to edit it together. We hope.
All right, and cut.